This is my second time filming this video now. I got around 2.5 minutes in, and the well kind of went dry on what I wanted to say. I just kind of had a writer's block or a talking block or a podcaster block, whatever you want to call it. And I'm making this video after being inspired by another YouTube video. I can link it below. Pretty much about the pitfalls of self-improvement, right? How self-development and self-improvement and all this stuff, it's going to first start by a giant pull of you becoming the best version of yourself. The idea that no one's going to save you, you do it for you, and you're going to maximize what you can do. And I've fell into this for better and for worse. I think definitely for better because it has allowed me to improve. But I'm going to talk about some of the other darker sides of this. But let's first get into why I think it can be good for you to say, do it for you. So in order for you to actually be able to contribute to society, your focus being only to contribute to society, you might not be able to do it to your full extent because perhaps you don't have the financial means, perhaps you don't have the confidence, perhaps you don't have the charisma. And I think that's why going off on your own, doing it for you, maximizing what you can be to then add to society is important. So especially in like a young man or woman's life in the beginning, making sure you're the best version of you is important. But this idea of doing it for you, for your own personal growth, and your own personal happiness can sometimes leave you feeling unfulfilled. And this mindset can also conjure some narcissistic tendencies, and especially selfish tendencies. And I see these tendencies arise in myself sometimes, to where I'll think that the growth of myself and how I can maximize the efficiency of my time and output outweighs how I can add to the social environments around and add to my community. And I've definitely made sacrifices necessary to where I probably could have added to my relationships, grown my relationships. But I choose to be selfish and choose to prioritize myself. I'm not saying that this is inherently a bad thing, but it can definitely be a pitfall of wanting to make yourself the best version that you can. I think it's very important when you're trying to grow, trying to make yourself better. You need to be able to balance this personal growth, balance this selfishness, balance the narcissism that's creeping up on you because you're doing so much more than everyone else, with a sense of like responsibility towards others. I'd make sure I try to do this, especially with my family. When I am working out a lot, reading books, making content on the internet, working my job, trading, doing all this stuff 24/7, not making time for my family, not making time for my friends, it's important to take a step back sometimes. Leave the ego aside and consciously make an effort to connect with your relationships. Some frameworks I like to do for this is making sure you're putting down your phone around your family, making sure you're putting down your phone around your friends, and actually trying to connect with them. Going up to someone and asking them how they are doing. It's kind of a weird way to look at things, a little bit analytical, right? To where, yeah, I'm doing all the selfish stuff for myself 24/7. So a good way to balance this is to ask people how they were doing. And especially for me, I find this difficult. Even on the podcast, when people are talking, I have to make a conscious effort to tell myself to shut the fuck up and listen to them and let them talk. Because sometimes it gets to the point to where I'm in my head just waiting for them to stop talking so I can say what I want. And that's not a good place to be. That's a selfish mindset. And like I said, that narcissism is conjured by being alone and focusing on yourself 24/7. The pitfall of self-development. So it's been a cool, pretty introspective look of me being self-aware of my viewpoints and self-aware of my tendencies and trying to override those so I can more effectively contribute to society and be a better individual and be a better person in my community. So what is true growth? What is true growth? So a person should elevate their individual lives so then they can effectively contribute positively to the world. I've talked about this with my friend Eamon, talked about this with some people. But I think that's why a role like the President of the United States is such a amazing place to be. For some people, it would be a power-hungry grab. And maybe I think I'm just emotionally above people by saying, that's not why I would want to be the president. But it's because it can put you in a place where you can make such amounts of change and really be able to push the envelope for what you want to accomplish. I don't even mean personally, personal development-wise, but ways you believe you can make the world a better place. And especially the United States, a place under democracy where it's governed by the people, the idea of popular sovereignty, where the people of the United States, right? The government is supposed to reflect all their beliefs. A perfect government, a perfect democracy. Everyone in the community, everyone in the country will want pretty much the same things as each other, or eventually reach an equilibrium where all the values end up reaching a specific point to where everyone can be somewhat happy, right? And being able to be the individual to put those changes into place and somehow be able to contribute as much as you can is definitely one of the most fulfilling things ever. And as I'm saying this right now, it does sound kind of selfish again, because you want to help the world. Why? So you can make yourself feel good? It's definitely a conscious battle that you're going to, not a conscious battle, it's the battle you're going to be having 24/7 in your brain for, are the things you're doing really for other people, or are they for to make yourself feel good? And either way, even if it is to make yourself feel good and you're improving other people's lives, I think that can quantify you as a good person. So let's go back to saying the idea of do it for you. So the idea of do it for you can inadvertently foster more self-centered behavior, overshadowing the collective good of what you're doing. The idea of keeping to yourself, focusing on you, getting your diet right, maybe getting a side hustle, all that stuff. You can overshadow your place in society, because society is a system, right? And you need to be integrated into the system. Not in like some matrix way, I just mean in general. That's what society is. That's what people are. People is a system, and humans are designed to interact with each other. So if you're isolating yourself with these antisocial behaviors in order to make yourself better, it seems like you're almost dwindling on the side of a sociopath. That's why it's so important when you go through this journey, when you try to make sure like, oh, I'm going alone, I need to be alone to grow, which is true. If you want to reach any sort of personal development, solitude is important. But you're going to have to keep yourself in check and make sure you're not isolating yourself to the point to where you're rejecting society. Because at that point, you just become a black pill doomer. If you don't know what a black pill doomer is, fortunately, I was never on any of those forums on the internet and stuff. But someone that pretty much, I'm actually looking up the definition just so I can more seeing black pill is pretty much extreme and nihilistic version of human nature, right? To where you think it's almost impossible to belong due to human nature. Unless you're not born super good looking, born with everything, you can't fit in. Or I just wasn't made for modern day society. That won't work. And these are the people that tend to get obsessed with the self-improvement culture, right? They get obsessed with like the mewing stuff, the mogging, all that weird shit. Like they're the type to fucking get veneers. They're the type to fucking inject synthol into their muscles. Do anything to somehow make themselves better. It's like they're jerking themselves off, trying to find some sort of fulfillment by improving themselves, and all it does is the perpetual state of making themselves more lonely. Where in reality, if they were to remove this veil and understand that if I were to just make a conscious effort to try to interact with people, ask people how they are doing, ask people what are they doing later, pick up a new hobby, a hobby that perhaps other people do so you can connect, they would feel way more fulfilled and be happier, rather than a total selfish approach on improving yourself as much as possible, thinking it will somehow fill the void of not having relationships. And this gets to my last point, but wanting to improve yourself. I've seen myself in my life, the stages where other people I think would falter and be like, oh no, I don't need to do this anymore. Examples will be like when my friends get a girlfriend or something like that. They'll start slacking because it's almost like their work was to get a girlfriend, so they reach the end point, right? But for me, the way my brain worked was when I had a girlfriend, I would work even harder because I wanted to be the best possible version of myself for said girlfriend. And that should be everyone's motivation, not a weird, narcissistic, jerk yourself off to make myself as good as I can, but make yourself the best version of you can for other people. So you can be the best father you can, be the best mother you can, be the best brother, be the best boyfriend, be the best girlfriend, be the best leader, be the best employee. Because like I was saying, your family is a system as well. It's a bunch of smaller parts integrated into a larger whole. If you were able to make your contribution better, you will improve the whole. And being able to improve the whole is a one-way ticket to feeling fulfilled and being happy. And that's all I have today. If you guys want me to elaborate in this video anymore, or you have any criticisms on me, please let me know. Because I want to be able to improve this YouTube channel so then I can somehow fit into someone else's system and make them better. Or this is just me being narcissistic and saying, I want to make my YouTube channel better so I get more views, so I make people happy, because people getting happy makes me feel happy. But having that battle is a constant constant paradox. So thank you guys for watching.